Hello, Alexandra. I've got your work up. Thank you so much for your submission. This logo is very, very good. It really is. It's actually great. It's so well balanced, and the fact that you're mixing these two typefaces is really really interesting. Um, I love it. I do have a couple of suggestions. The one thing that the logo is missing is it's lacking contrast, and it's funny because I in my last critique, which you probably watched, or if you don't, please do, because I talk about the same thing with the last student is this contrast principle of contrast. So what does that mean? It means that when this is not going to be visible enough, it's almost monotone, literally monotone, meaning it's monotone, green and white. The black is it definitely helps. Don't get me wrong, it definitely helps, but we definitely need to bring some more contrast into this piece. Let me show you why. When we recede, when we back off on this, the everything recedes in the background. The only thing we can really see is lake here. So this kind of disappears. The fish is definitely gone. The RV is disappearing and receding. Do you see what I'm saying? As it gets smaller, less and less of it become visible, which is, I mean, to be expected, of course, logically. But there's things that we do as designers to circumvent that, and contrast is one of them. How do we work contrast into this? Boy, I'll tell you what. I mean, the most obvious I would just turn the reel and the string into black. But of course, that's not going to coincide with the design. So you want to do is you want to work with color on this. Maybe dark browns, earth tones definitely. I wouldn't go trying to represent blue for the lake. I would definitely keep it at earth tones, grays, I'm sorry, browns, tans, grays, um, dark browns, tans, grays, shades of green, dark green, things like that will really help. Like I'm seeing this line in really dark green. I think that would help. And then this and maybe some sort of earth tone brown. But anyways, let's take a look at the angle of the A here, right here where the fishing rod goes. It looks like this angle does not equal this angle, which kind of creates this kind of weird funkiness, separates the line from the rod, which I think could be more further emphasized if that line were to follow that logical line of the fishing rod. And it would bring it down this way a little bit. Boy, I wish I could draw a curved guide. If this was an illustrator, I could do it and show you what I mean. But I hope you see what I mean. Right now, it just keeps on. It seems like if this way this line is bending, the line itself should be bending, which means you might have to move the whole thing further away or change the angle or something. But right now, that's just a little odd. The line looks great itself, but you want to smooth all of these curves out. You can go into Illustrator and use the smooth path tool to smooth these out. That's one way of doing it. I would recommend going in here but manually and really smoothing out each of the anchor points on that path in Illustrator. Finally, the fish doesn't fit. The fish looks like an afterthought. It really does. Look how you've taken so much care in everything, and then the fish is just kind of like flopped. Man. You know what I mean? It's just not a good shape. It's not a good shape. It's not. I don't think it is. I think you can definitely do something better. I don't know. What's the shape of this fish here? I mean, look how much more dynamic it is than just kind of that floppy fish that, I don't know. I hope that makes sense. I'm not trying to offend you at all. I'm just saying that, everything looks so professional and then the fish is just like an afterthought, especially this part right here. This right here, that you can tell that the illustrator, the paths just, that's a corner path. Do fish have pointed noses? Not usually. I mean, not that pointed. And the paths are just not working out. So I would revisit the shape of that fish. Okay, so then you have your process. You have your process book as part of your advertising campaign. Yes. Where did that go? Here it is. Yes, I'm sorry, as part of your corporate identity. So your style guide is part of that. So that would be one part, and then you have everything that has to do with your style guide. Now, for obvious reasons, you can't show your whole style guide. I would just use the mission statement. We may not even use that in final portfolio. But, I want to mention, too, that now this is the way that you submitted the assignment probably for class, right? So which means that we would have to extract all this information and recompose this all on the size and the composition of the background pages you choose to use for your portfolio. Okay, I just want to mention that. We'll get to that next week, but it's really important consideration. So you wouldn't just be pasting these pages on those pages because there's a real good chance those pages are going to take on a different shape. At least I'm going to direct them to, and I'll give you pretty good reasoning why. Okay, so I was saying that there's things that can stay, and we need to think about brevity because we can't show the whole style guide in the portfolio. So chances are we're going to remove the written components, the keywords, we'll remove those, probably remove the inspiration. This is critical. I want you to put these in Photoshop and run a levels adjustment layer so that we can bring the contrast out. These not too much. You don't want them to look digital. You want them to still look like your sketches. And right now it looks like you're showing sketches, but you have this whole area under 2/3 of the page. I think it's important to show your sketches. You know, and in the final portfolio, what I would recommend right now, I think that you can just take this away and just show us bigger versions. You know, you can just show the sketches because we're going to reorient them on the final portfolio page anyways. But I really think that you should show these sketches. This is important. Portfolio reviewers, hiring professionals love to see sketches. I know I do. It shows ideation. It shows concept development. It shows a tangible relationship with your fingers, your hands, your mind, and your design. It's really critical. You want to show those and show those prominently. Think about that. We'll get to that moving forward. Digital roughs, good. Okay, this doesn't make sense to me. Typology, the type to use with Lake Air is Mr. Eves. Great typeface, by the way. But what does that mean? The typeface to use with Lake Air. I don't know what that means. Does that mean? Is that the only, like, that needs to be explained. I'm lost on that. And then the style to use with Lake Air is bold, regular. I'm not getting that. And believe me, I've thought about it long and hard. I didn't want to say anything, but it just doesn't make any sense. To me, anyway. Okay, so black and white logo. No, absolutely no contrast here. I'd go straight black and white on this for the black and white logo like you did here. That's much more. See how contrast. See what I'm talking about? Contrast. Look, let's move away. This is mimicking moving away. Okay, see the line. You can still almost see the fish and the RV, and then let's take a look at that next. This version. Okay, let's move in. Okay, see how now nothing is visible anymore. The line looks like a mistake. The RV looks like a line, and now it's completely gone. So as you can see how important contrast is to the presentation of design. Let's move on. Color exploration. I don't think we need this page. I don't, because I'm going to be honest with you. It looks like you're just throwing colors in here. It really does. It doesn't look like there's thought behind the colors because, as I said, we're talking about lake, air, RV, and campground. I mean, to me, that would indicate earth tones. I think it's really smart that you never went with the blue to try to indicate the lake. I think that's sending a wrong signal. But this definitely is, this is just straight up RGB. I mean, these are default RGB. So as a portfolio reviewer or a hiring professional, if I were to see this, I would say, okay, it just kind of looks like you threw colors in here. It just doesn't look like there's a whole lot of thought behind this color exploration. So maybe what you can do is in your new color exploration, if you change your logo like I recommended to add more contrast, show your new color exploration and then your first color exploration. And because that's good. These are forced. This is good. Okay, so then you would have 2 color explorations, which is all day long better than 4 color explorations that don't seem like there's any conceptual thought behind a color choice as it relates to the concept and the subject matter. Hope that makes sense. Please let me know if it doesn't. Let's move on. Logo solution, there it is. Yes, good job. Okay, I want to talk about this. This is your collateral. Okay, I want to take a look at this. Gosh, I don't like it when... What? Let me see. Okay, my dog's going to bark, so I have to shut down for 1 second. I'll be right back. Okay, as I was talking about collateral design, now I'm trying to get this to fit in here so we can take a look. I wanted to... Okay, that's what I was saying. I hate it when Illustrator... It got me again. Here we go. Here we go. All right. So right now, there's a couple things going on. You've got these really harsh drop shadows, and they're overtaking the work. So I would not use those harsh drop shadows. The way that you have this configured is that the business card is so tiny, we can't see it. We just can't see it in relationship to... Now, I know it's to scale. I would guess. I mean, that definitely looks like a number 10 envelope. That definitely looks like a 8.5 by 11, and that definitely looks like a 3.5 by 2, all within scale, in scale to each other. But sometimes you can break scale, or I've got a couple other comments and suggestions as how to format this presentation itself. This is smart, really smart. You don't need all that, a lot of, it's just the return address. That's it. So you're not trying to force anything into the logo. Speaking of forcing things, I do think this is completely forced. This frame around the letterhead. I would highly recommend removing that. Let's take a look at that stationery system itself. That's stationery spelled with an E, stationery, and that means a business basic branding kit, which is a letterhead, a business card, and an envelope. So as we look at this, there's no consistency between the three pieces, Alexander. We can see as I just move into the business card and the envelope, the business card and the letterhead. The letterhead's got all these frames around it. We don't need those. Let's get rid of those. Just white background on the letterhead. Okay, then what you have over here is you've got an inconsistency on your business card because the business card has this horizontal rule and it's not being used anywhere else. So, general rule of thumb in design, specifically branding, is don't use anything once. If you're going to use it, if you only see it once, get rid of it. So we only see that once, get rid of it. We only see that once, get rid of it. We only see that line once, get rid of it. See, this is good and nice. This is perfect. Nothing to get rid of. Awesome. Let's take a look again at the way that the address and the logo are configured. This was very smart of you to place the logo in the upper left-hand corner in both the business card and the letterhead. That was smart. And again, that is mimicked. I mean, that's repeated here. So you got some great consistency there. The way the address is configured, though, it's kind of strange because right now you have right alignment over here, and then over here you just kind of have 4 forced lines in there. What does that say in the bottom there? If you like us, please give us a review. If you don't, not on the business card. No way. No, let's get rid of that. Okay, and then this is just kind of randomly placed. It almost looks forced. So let's talk about how we can fix that. One of the great solutions and one of the really wonderful way to design. Oh, geez. Here we go. All right, so my Adobe is going crazy. Okay, so one of the things we can do to address those inconsistencies is that I was talking about the address inconsistency, is that I always like to see this. I think that's a really wonderful solution, and it will work here. I would do this. I think that if you could take this logo here, leave it there, get rid of the rule, keep the logo up in the corner, but you can start to your type somewhere below the logo, not parallel with the logo, because right now it's in competition with the logo. You don't want things in competition with your logo. I think the address here is in competition with the logo because right now you're asking your viewer to look at, now I'm going to assume that you're going to take those frames out of there, but you would be asking the viewer to look at this and this. Now this has visual precedence, but nonetheless this is giving it a little competition. I like to design letterheads like this. Logo up top on the business card. Then you can take that and span it down there at the bottom of the letterhead. That way you're opening up the whole letterhead. You're opening it up for versatility. You can now use it as a letterhead. You can use it for invoices, for packing slips, anything you need it for, because you've got this wonderful area to work within, and all of your contact information is included. That way you can even almost, if you're stuck with someplace to put your contact information there, you could even mimic that in the business card by coming down here and whoops, watch my cursor, and just placing it at the bottom. Think about that right now. I think this business card is very, very cluttered. Let's take a look at the envelope looks fantastic. I think, see, it's minimal, so it works. Okay, let's move on. These are good pieces, and I think it's a really good idea to show these pieces with the subject matter. This is great. It's smart. It's a map. Maybe you could even make it something else. Maybe you could design something like parking things that stick on the mirror of your car, or those things they give you for parking, so they kind of hang like a hang tag for the inside of your rear view mirror so that they can see it from the outside of the car. Maybe design one of those. This is great. The map is so smart. Why do we have to have this frame around the map, though? And then we have this. I think that an 8.5 by 11 brochure would be a fantastic addition to this advertising campaign. I really do. I think it would be a wonderful addition. Yeah, I mean, you don't have to. You've already got enough pieces, right? You've got your, where are we? You've got your, let me see. Yeah, you would have enough pieces because you've got your style guide as one, and that's that whole beginning section. You got your style guide as one, then you have your stationery. That's stationery with an E, of course. Stationery, your letterhead, business card down below. Then you have these collateral pieces. So that's, let me see, style guide 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. So yeah, you have enough pieces, but I would love to see a trifold brochure in here because it seems to fit with the whole concept. It's like you're going camping and you got this trifold brochure. It's got the map, it's got all the information, and then you've got this separate map for the grounds, and everybody gets one of those, and then you have your sticker, and it's just like a nice package. You know what I'm saying? Okay, and then this final piece, boy, I'm 15 minutes. I did not want to do that. I am so sorry. My, how time flies. I would mock this up in Photoshop. I would definitely mock this up in Photoshop. Show somebody at a campground, maybe with a fishing rod in their hand, and then Photoshop this on their shirt. Make these live scenarios instead of these illustrated scenarios. Okay? Again, I'm so sorry I'm over 15 minutes, but I'm going to cut it short here. If you have any questions, please give me a holler. Okay? Thanks.